Disney. Did you know that the Disney studio technically owns everything now? Even me. See? And while they've created some of the greatest animated films of all time, there's definitely a bunch that are just as great. Some even pushing the innovation of animation further than Disney even could. So these are my top 7 non-Disney animated films. Number 7, Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't think any art form is unappreciated as much as stop motion animation. It's a painstaking process that produces some truly unique and beautiful images. And I think Fantastic Mr. Fox is one of the best films done in this way. Director Wes Anderson's usual dry sense of humor and themes adapt extremely well to this style. He's always had a strong visual control over his movies, and in this one, he literally controls everything. There's also a lot of great voice talent here. George Clooney, Meryl Streep, Bill Murray. You can tell there's a lot of nostalgic love for the past in here, but still feels very modern. I'm not sure how much kids respond to the movie, but it's one I never get tired of watching over and over again. Number 6, Rango. I'm starting to notice a theme with my picks that it's not necessarily story I gravitate to in animated movies, although this one is done rather well. It's the old guy pretends to be someone he's not to save a town cliché. Basically, it's Three Amigos, and a little bit of Chinatown. But what I love about this movie is the way it lovingly homages the spaghetti western genre, and is surprisingly hilarious. The animation is also amazing. This is some of the best 3D animation I've ever seen. It also has one of the best Johnny Depp performances I think in the last 10 years. Just like Fantastic Mr. Fox, a lot of the voices were recorded live with the actors performing out the action, and it really adds to their performance. Not just one of my favorite animated movies, but probably one of my favorite westerns. If you missed it when it originally came out, give it a shot. Number 5, The Lego Movie. Talk about one of the funniest animated films I've ever seen. Needless to say, this is going down in history as one of the biggest Oscar-snubbed movies ever, because aside from being very funny, it's also endlessly creative, mixing characters and worlds together in a way that's never been done before, and wrapping everything up in a self-parody bubble of awesomeness. It's the closest thing to a modern Mel Brooks movie or Airplane movie where the jokes just keep coming non-stop. With its hilarious voice cast and characters, this is a movie that's going to live long in people's memories, much longer than whatever won the Oscar that year. Oh, come on. Number 4, The Prince of Egypt. The mid to late 1990s was a strange time for feature animation. So many animated movies were made, and yet it lasted such a short time. Prince of Egypt was the second feature from DreamWorks Animation, and you can get the feel that they're really looking to separate themselves from Disney. Kids can get into it, but it clearly takes itself more seriously. Though the story is pretty familiar to those who went to Sunday school, the movie's stunning animation are what really bring it to life. This is some of the most breathtaking hand-drawn animation that was done at the time. I also really like the music and the score. It's a very emotional movie, and the visuals suit it well. And if Warner Brothers doesn't release a Blu-ray copy of this soon, I will protest. Come on, you give Spirit, the Stallion of the Cimarron, a Blu-ray release and not this? Number 3, My Neighbor Totoro. I'll admit I'm not the biggest fan of anime, but I think just about everybody can find a Miyazaki movie that they like and admire. While I do really admire Spirited Away, there's just something about Totoro that is simply beautiful. There's really not much of a plot, it's just kids hanging out on their new farm with these magical creatures. I love its completely laid-back feel, and how that really represents what it's like to be a child, with nothing on your schedule except play and explore. It's extremely imaginative and delightfully whimsy. Just maybe not play that theme song anymore, please. Please, stop. Please stop that. Number 2, The Secret of NIMH. This is one of those 80s mystical movies that just keeps getting better with age. Directed by Don Bluth, and arguably his greatest achievement. This came out at a time when the Disney formula had gotten really stale, and Bluth really stretches his wings in something that's both magical and at times very frightening. I didn't really get into this as a kid, but I think it works for adults even better. There's a sophistication in its subject matter and tone that I just don't think we get with many animated films today. Though it's only a cult classic, it still represents a style that I hope one day we can see again. Number 1, The Iron Giant. Sure, you probably saw this coming, but I just feel that this is about as perfect of a movie as you can get. It's a familiar story reminiscent of movies like Pete's Dragon or E.T., but done with wicked cleverness and great heart, combined with stunning 2D animation. This movie was sadly a box office disappointment, and though the director is doing just fine, this could have really helped the rut that 2D animation started to find itself in. And maybe if things had been different, the art form wouldn't have died out the way it did. Brad Bird at the time was looking for a way to get away from the Disney formula of light and fluffy and move into more serious territory. to make a film that adults could really cherish just as much as kids. And with this great film, he did just that, creating a classic that will live forever. So those are my 7 favorites. I know you have yours, and hopefully one day we can look forward to the animated Harry Potter movie. Maybe directed by Henry Selick. Good thing this video didn't have too many Disney clips, or YouTube would have to take it down even though I'm within my rights. Oh wait, they own me now. Wait, does that mean they're gonna... Oh, come on!